Paul Brown said to me, son, act like you've been there before. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, I just barely got on the field. I hadn't been there before. So
I'm glad to be part of that trend. You know, sun's out, guns out.
How about Isaac Curtis on one side, Charlie Joyner on the other side? A lot of quarterbacks were very envious that I had those two weapons to throw to, but
now wait a minute. Is it fair that Pat McAnally is still the sexiest guy on our team? Is that
you got me there. You got me good.
Donald, how you gonna be in that video not represent with a chain? Your cane goes, man. I got mine on. I'm ready to go.
Oh, that's great. That's priceless.
There are two guys that I think it's a travesty that are not in that Hall of Fame.
Ken Riley and Ken Anderson. Yeah, sure.
Put the backdrop on, Jamie. See if Marissa's okay with it.
Yeah, I got her backdrop. Starting the Canadian fan club up here for you.
That is so funny.
My last touchdown, and that's what Joe Burrow's going to end up like if they don't start protecting his ass. It's going to be the next David Klinkler. David Klinkler.
There's no Spanish-speaking people here, very few. So we, fast forward, we go to the Super Bowl in Miami, and the word was the Bengals have two big Mexican offensive linemen. They don't know how to speak Spanish. So I got down there and started doing these interviews in Spanish, and they're like, "Wait, we heard you don't speak Spanish."
What's going on, fellas? What's going on? But I got on the plane one day in an all red Suge Knight suit. And boy, Joe Walters and the linemen, they destroyed me. I thought for sure I was so clean. I had some gaiters on, all red suit on. I was Suge Knight. They roasted me.
The head coach was really the pain in the butt. The Jerry Glenn, he thought he was. If you didn't know who he was, he walked out there like he owned his state. And I always say, if I could get a chance to hit him on the sideline, I would.
I'm tackling your ass, Pete. I'm shoestring low on you.
But I got to tell you, you have been stepped on, son. You would have had cleats everywhere.
Well, I'm proud to be a Bengal. Yes, I'm proud to be a Bengal again. I got nothing from you guys.
And welcome, everybody, to Talking Football with Bengal Jim and Friends. It is good to see everybody again with our break last week with the holidays. But we have James and Tom on the screen. James, we're missing somebody.
Yeah, Jamie had the bad hair day. It was by the pool all day today, and he's just relaxing behind the scenes. I guess when you've got the lucrative position of being the executive producer of the show, you can do what you want. So he made that call, and he's behind the scenes. So here we are.
All right, good.
Tom, were you sitting by the pool all day today, like Jamie?
No, I cannot pull the executive card. I can't play the executive card, and Jamie's the first Canadian I've ever known to be put on the disabled list due to sunburn. But he'll be back next week, 100% ready to go, and he's behind the scenes. I pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
So everybody, if you're typing in something to Jamie, he can see everything. He can hear everything. So welcome. We got an hour-packed show tonight, guys. We've got Ira Kaufman and Jeff Legwold, Ira from Tampa Bay and Jeff from Denver, who are basically they're two of the 9 senior voters for the Hall of Fame, which we're going to talk to here in a little bit. We'll talk a little Bengals and Denver and Tampa and some Hall of Fame voting and how that process works. And we got an hour packed full, so we've got another duck race here. We'd like to welcome our friends from the Facebook page, Who Dey Nation. Good to see everybody from Who Dey Nation again. Love you guys. If you're not watching and subscribing, follow Who Dey Nation. I think they're up to 16,000 followers on that page, which is the biggest Bengal page on Facebook. So we love you guys. Keep doing it. Jennifer's an awesome piece of that, part of that group as well. And guys, I don't know if everybody saw this. Do you realize Chad Johnson is fighting tonight?
That's the rumor on the street. Yeah.
There he is. And that guy's name is Brian Maxwell. I might have to stay up and watch this. Chad says he hasn't eaten McDonald's in like 60 or 90 days or something like that to get ready for this fight, guys.
God bless him. But the other guy's been in 3 professional fights. Chad's got an uphill battle. If he can, go to a decision, I think that would be considered a win for Chad.
I think Chad should have eaten some McDonald's. Right for the fight.
Hey, Jimmy, we kind of got one little surprise tonight. You remember our friends from New York and all the cool videos that they've done?
Yeah.
Okay. Our Bengal super fans have another video. We're going to debut it tonight right here, live on the show. Jamie, go ahead and play it.
Let's get ready to rumble!
He's just mad about the Bengals. The fans are just mad about him. He's just mad about Cincy. Cincy is just mad about him. They call him Bengal Jim. Where's a ball brown hat? They call him Bengal Jim. Watch him Sunday night. They call him Bengal Jim. The man, the myth, the legend. Jim's just mad about tailgates.
Wait. He's a Bengal OG. Let's kick it up a notch.
You're now about to witness the streak of Pune knowledge. Straight out of Cincy, a Bengal super fan named Jamie. From the before the war tailgate in that year. Yo, have you seen his show? If not, get on it, bro. Then catch him at the jungle, cheering on Joe. A true Cincy fan since '93. Stop by, do a Bengal bomb to our departed fat Randy. Cam is Section 158, always repping for our past Bengals greats. From Canton to the Rattler, Ocho 2. What does Paul Brown mean to you? Don't mess with Bengal Jim, the proudest of them all. He told the commish put more Bengals in the hall. Being a Bengals fan, he has taken his licks, but he always has the Bengals back rocking turtle shell kicks. Wood fans, Fly fans, that's what's up. Chillin' with Bengal Jim and friends, raise a cup. 2021, we're shooting for the stars. With Bengal Jim leading the charge. The season is ours! Man, Bengal Jim is dope!
Thanks, guys. Huday, 17-0. Great schedule. We're excited about it.
Well, you've hit the big time when you've got your own video.
That was great. Oh my gosh. I had no idea. Come on. I got tears of laughter in my eyes. I was laughing so hard. You guys did it outstanding.
These kids nailed it.
Oh my gosh. The NWA, you didn't let them hear the radio. It was the radio edit you let them hear of that, right?
They hit the rap life, so we just got to move with it.
Oh my gosh, that was so funny. I had no idea. So James and these guys were totally in the loop, and I was not. Guys, that means a lot. I was dying laughing. Thank you, guys. You guys are so cool. I love you guys. Everybody in Houday Nation loves you guys, and they cannot wait to meet you guys. I know some of you guys are going to be in Canton, and I know at some point this year you're going to get in town for a game, and you're going to be like celebrities when you walk around town. I promise you that.
And God bless them. They were supposed to do it 2 weeks ago before Jamie lost all his power. So we had this thing ready to go, and we had to cancel. So here we are 2 weeks later, finally able to do the debut. So thank you to AJ, family, the girls for all their hard work and putting that together.
Yeah.
We love you guys. Thank you, Houday. That was great. You got the new stripes on. I love it.
All of them, yeah.
Yeah, we got stuff everywhere.
We got to get the kids going with it, but it's a slow process. We can't just go boom.
You got to take out a mortgage.
That's right.
Guys, I had no idea that was coming. That was the funniest, greatest thing I've ever seen. So I'm giving you guys a big hug when I see you guys. I can't wait to see you.
We're coming down opening day.
So boy. Do we got plans for you guys?
Yeah.
So let us know if you're coming in that Friday or Saturday. We're going to take you guys out Friday or Saturday whenever you guys get in town. So thanks so much, guys. You guys are the best, and I can't wait to see what you guys have in store for us this season.
Oh, we got some good ones coming. Cheers.
See you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Great job.
There we go.
Gosh. I'm not going to be able to tell you how funny that was. That's funny stuff, man.
You've reached the pinnacle when you have your own video about you.
And then they went straight to NWA. I was like, yes. And the kids were there. I was like, please let this be the radio edit.
They're a great family, but I think not this week because we've already got a great cause. But maybe 2 weeks down the road we can do a celebrity duck race to get those kids new jerseys.
Oh, yeah,
the oldest one had a Mike Nugent jersey on, so we got to help them out.
Oh man, let's keep going here, guys. That just threw me for a loop, man. So threw the whole schedule off for the show now because of that. Thank you.
It's their bedtime. They still have school in New York, so we had to get them on early. So thank you to AJ and the family for getting them all dolled up. Like I said, we tried it 2 weeks ago, and Jamie's power outage put a kibosh on that. So
all right, so might have to skip a few things here, but I do want to notify everybody that's on Twitter. This individual that I'm getting ready to talk about is not on Facebook. His name is Mason Prophater, Prophater. And Jamie might be able to pull something up on this, but on Twitter, he was messaging me today saying, hey, I would like to give a print. That artwork you see right there is from the 2019 draft in Nashville. Those prints are pretty damn expensive. So he wants to give away a print and also $250 to a Bengals fan to spend on tickets, whether it be towards your season tickets or towards an individual game tickets. He lives in Nashville. He's just a diehard Bengals fan. And the only how you enter this is you get on Twitter, go to his page, and we retweeted this earlier today. It's a simple thing. You're going to guess numbers between 1 and 2,000. Whoever guesses the number that he sent to me, we have it stamped in our direct message so people know we're not playing any kind of funny games. But he's not asking for a follow. He just wants to help somebody out in Houday Nation is going to give him this print and $250 towards season tickets or tickets to a Bengals game next year. So what a really cool thing. And I love Houday Nation and the fans. People are doing this stuff all over the place. That's really cool to see, guys.
Man, that's awesome. The print itself is cool. And then to donate that money for, like you said, season tickets or to come in town for a game and hang out, we'd love to see you. And all you have to do is type in a number. You can't get much easier than that.
Yep, cool stuff. I had to say something there. And let's go ahead and bring on Josh, our Bengals super collector here. Josh, that was that jam, man. I had my shell toes upstairs. I'd have brought them down with me, man. So
I was down here rocking along. It was great. I was laughing so hard.
So we want to take a minute or so, just talk about an event that Josh and Hollis and Ryan and James, we had a bunch of folks. Brandon went to at LaSalle High School. LaSalle had a great event last Wednesday called, they're basically remembering Sam Weiss. There was about 15 to 20 players there. The stories were outstanding. They didn't hold back. There were stories there, guys, that I had never heard before as well. So they were great. It was a lot of fun. LaSalle did a hell of a job. But let's talk about how do we tie that into our memorabilia discussion. And our buddy Hollis did something here that was very special that raised a lot of money for LaSalle, Josh.
Okay, yeah. So as you know, we've mentioned Hollis. He's a great friend of mine, and we're on our way to the Sam Weiss event. Hollis painted a portrait of Sam Weiss. This is just a print. It's not the original portrait. We had the original portrait on hand with us that night. We're in the car going to LaSalle. David Fulcher had him bring it to donate for this event. We were going to auction it off. He's going to kill me for telling you this, but he was nervous. He's like, it's my artwork. He's I just hope it raises some money for the school. I want them to get something out of it. And I was like, yeah, man, I hope that you do. So we get there, and when the event was over, like you said, great stories. I'd never heard some of them before. They didn't hold back. And then Fulcher gets on the stage. He holds up the print. He introduces Hollis, and they started the auction.
Yeah.
From there.
Let's stop right there, Josh. I'm sorry. We're going to go through a couple pictures, and we're going to let Josh talk about that print. Jamie, if you could pull up some of the pictures. We started, I think we had 10 or 12 of us at a bar pretty close that we had a few beers before we went down to LaSalle. it's a small group of us. There was more people that met us there. You can just keep flipping through some of the pictures. And that's when we walk into the event there. It was unbelievable, the amount of Bengal fans. And there's our buddy Brandon wearing his you don't live in Cleveland, you live in Cincinnati, and there's a big banner there with that as well inside the gym at LaSalle.
And Brandon got a call out to open it up from the president the principal of LaSalle. So Brandon was rocking the Sam Weiss shirt for the
Mo Eggers was emceeing it a little bit. You see Dave Lapham and Dan Horde was there as well, along with so many other Bengals. And there's a legend right there, Chris Collinsworth. And there's our buddy Brandon again in CC. And I know a lot of people don't like Chris, but I'm telling you, he's a great dude, man. You get him outside the booth there, man. He's outstanding.
Lots of great stories. And that was a game-used jersey, right?
That is a game used Chris Collinsworth jersey, and there's Falter. He ran it up there and got it signed for us. So.
Yep. And this is the print that Josh was talking about. So let's talk about what happened when this print got auctioned off, Josh.
Oh man, it was an awesome moment. So, as I said, he wanted to raise money for the school, and they start the auction off, and he kind of was in his head like, man, I hope it just gets a couple $100. So, as the bidding just went, it went 500, 600, 700, 800 over there. And I was so excited for Hollis that every time someone bid, I punched him in the rib cage. So he gets up to 1,200, then all the way up to, I believe, a gentleman, his bid was $3,500. Then another gentleman on the far side of the room, he bids $5,000, going once, going twice, sold for $5,000. He then in turn introduces himself and sells it back to the original guy for $3,500, as long as he would still take that. So it ended up raising $8,500 for LaSalle High School. And then the gentleman who bought it for $3,500 introduces himself and says, as long as the players are all willing to sign it, I'll donate it to the high school. So that's going to be at LaSalle High School in the hallway there for the kids. So just a great night for Hollis. His artwork is wonderful. I have a print of that right there myself. I mean, he just does the best work, man, and I'm super proud of him. And that was just a really cool moment for him and all Bengals fans. Yeah,
let's talk just one more second about Hollis. So he has all kinds of prints, man. I've got 2 of his prints. I know he did an Andrew Whitworth one that I have, and one of my favorite prints of his is the Paul Brown and Warren McVeigh print. Those are on my wall, Josh. Can you pull a couple of those up?
Yeah, so if you can bring me back up, this is the Whitworth one you're talking about. So he's got them in his LSU days, his LA Rams, but it has all of his statistical stats there with just really, man, just look at he just paints, man. Look at that definition in the face. Like,
these are paintings, guys. These are paintings.
And some of our fans might remember, I believe we auctioned one of those off at the charity we did at 16 Lots. Didn't we?
I did.
For the Marines and Ken Anderson Alliance. So I can't remember who got that, but it was pretty cool.
This one was on the show the other day. Someone from, I believe, New York had one.
Yeah, New Jersey. Our buddy Mike. Yeah,
New Jersey. Yeah. Here's David Fulcher himself.
That's awesome.
And a good one there. And then this is the Joe Burrow he did with a half LSU uniform, half Cincinnati uniform.
Yeah, tell me that's not sexy there. That's awesome.
He only did 9 of these. I don't know if he has any more available, but that's a really cool one.
So where do people find? Just help people understand where to find Josh. I'm sorry, Hollis, Josh, and how to get a hold of him and see what prints he has available.
Absolutely. So in the city of Fairfield, there's Heirloom Frame. It's on Millis Boulevard. That's where they do anything you need framed, anything you need. It doesn't have to be sports related, but they do kind of specialize in sports. You can see some frames I have back there. They are the best. They kill it every time. And then they do have Hollis's original artwork is in there. You can get his contact information in there, I'm sure. I know that he has a lot of these prints available for purchase there. It's just an unbelievable collector's item that you're not going to find anywhere. It's a good gift for somebody that, with a birthday or holiday coming up. Like, it's just unbelievable work, and you're getting it for a bargain. And he just does absolutely great things for, the Bengals, for the fans. And I hope that everyone gets a chance to check him out and get something of his.
Yeah, and it's funny, Josh. Hollis doesn't want to come on. He says he gets a little nervous on this type of stuff, but a great man, a great artist, and a great Bengals fan. And Josh and I wanted to talk about Hollis tonight, especially that print. If you would have seen Hollis's eyes that day at the event for how much that thing went for, he was very excited about it, and it was I think he was very humbled by it, which was really cool. So
And there's his Twitter handle that I just popped up there. So if you're on Twitter, that's his Twitter handle. You can go check out a lot of his cool work there.
And he just texted us just now, in a good reminder. We found out something at the event that I don't think is a bunch of public knowledge until that night. Joe Walter, former Bengal offensive lineman, is dealing with some serious medical issues right now. So just make sure you keep Joe Walter and his family and everybody's thoughts and prayers move forward as well. Okay. Josh, we appreciate it, man. Good stuff coming next week. And I know we'll see you. You're going to be up in Canton with us as well, right?
Yep, absolutely. I'll be there.
It's going to be fun, buddy. We appreciate you being on again, buddy. We'll see you next week.
All right, man. I'll see you guys.
See you, Josh.
All right, man. See you, big dog.
All
right, we're going to skip over a few things, James. We to stay on track here. We'll come back to a few things, but we want to get this charity duck race. I know Ira just got in the room, but just won't take but a minute, guys. You guys raised $1,125 for Massillon High School boosters. Now, obviously, us being in Cincinnati, we're always competing against Northern Ohio in football, but we thought it was a good thing to do because we're going to be up there June 19th for the Jungle to the Hall. And in that morning, 10 to 12, basically they're going to allow us to go through their facilities where it all started for Paul Brown. We're going to get pictures of the Paul Brown statue. We thought it was the very least we could do to help out their boosters. And you guys raised $1,125 for their boosters. 30 ducks were sold for the duck race, which brings our total for the year, our grand total for the year, over $12,000 this year raised for charities and other organizations that we've worked with. So you guys are awesome. We're at over $12,000 and the season hasn't even started. So let's get to this duck race, this charity duck race, see who wins it. This is a Tyler Boyd jersey donated by our friend Carrie and Tony the Tiger. For the race here, we've got 30 names on the list. And Tom, you're going to be our duck caller for the race here today, if that's okay.
Fair enough.
Let's go. Whenever you want to call it off, Tom.
Whenever you're ready, let her go, James. They're off. Underneath the 275 bridge, paddling hard toward town, past California. What we got? We've got looks like the taxi driving duck ahead.
Luke, that's Luke. That's our buddy Luke.
Yeah,
like that. COVID duck is always strong early, but like the virus itself, it's going to go away.
I think it's fitting. We have Craig Johnson has a pink duck that fits well.
Brian Engelhardt is strong on the outside coming through as they come down past the east end. The ball fields, they're zooming back and forth tonight.
Oh, here they go.
Ron Volkerding is pretty good in the lime green duck.
Oh, Craig charging back.
Craig, it's not good to be out front this early.
You don't want to be out front this early. I mean, they're coming down right now. They're going by Montgomery and Boathouse. You don't want to be in the lead when you go by Smale Park. The finish line's at Paul Brown.
Here we come. 5 seconds. This is it.
But man, wait a minute. We got a charger. There we go. David Bowman.
David Bowman.
Photo finish.
At the very end, out of nowhere, number 20, Ray Horton. Number.
We
have a winner, and so does Massillon High School.
Hey, Tom, does this winner have to pass the drug test? This isn't who's the trainer from the Kentucky Derby? Brian.
Bob Baffert.
That's not a Bob Baffert trained duck, is it?
You know what? The last I saw there, that duck was still going, so I don't know if we'll be able to catch the duck to do a test.
Well, David,
the duck will still be going to. The duck is down by Markland Dam. It's in Indiana now.
So David, hey, congratulations on winning the signed the autographed Tyler Boyd jersey. Congratulations, and again, congratulations to the Massillon Boosters. Over $1,100 raised. Very cool thing, man. We appreciate everybody's support on these charities and organizations we bring to the table, and we make it fun with the duck race. So we appreciate everybody on that. So, guys, let's get going to our first guest tonight. And again, we've already had one senior voter on with us here a few weeks ago, John McLean, who was a lot of fun talking to, and we had a lot of fun discussion with John. We've got 2 other ones here. I'm telling you, are just as good, if not better, than our buddy John. But we've got Ira Kaufman who is the Pro Football Hall of Fame rep for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, columnist for JoeBucksFan.com. And let's bring him on the screen here, guys. Ira, what's going on, big dog? How you doing, buddy?
Gentlemen, I am surprised that wasn't a Tampa Bay Duck that won that competition because we're winning everything down here, gentlemen. This is Titletown.
What the hell is going on down there? Jeez.
We got the Rays, we got the Lightning, we got the Super Bowl champs. the college teams are doing well. Must be something in the water.
Yeah, I was going to say it's got to be something in the water, man. It's that's funny stuff, man. That's funny stuff. So hey, Ira, we appreciate you being with us, bud. Someday we're going to get a Super Bowl up here in Cincinnati, Ira. You call us, we'll get pictures with it. We'll send it to you. It's going to happen here soon with Joe Burrow. Okay.
I got to say, I got to do a shout out to Bengal Nation because you guys are all over Twitter, and it's been going on for 6 months, a year. Ken Riley, Ken Anderson, Willie Anderson, Isaac Curtis, you name it. And, look, I don't blame you because the Bengals have been in business for a long, long time. And, of course, you got, maybe the greatest tackle of all time in Munoz, and he needs some company in the hall, gentlemen. He needs company.
Brother, let's get to that conversation, Ira. Man, I'd love it kicking off like that. So, we've been digging into this for quite a while, Ira. You've been around a long time and kind of know the ins and outs of some of this stuff. It's the senior voting, and help us understand. We'll just ask you some questions. We don't want to put you in a bad spot, but we think we're having a huge event up in Canton. We literally have rented an event tent on the grounds of the Hall of Fame. We're going to have 200 or 300 Bengal fans up there. Willie Anderson's going to be there. Anthony Munoz is going to be there. We're going to have Ken Riley the second there virtually. We're going to have we're going to have a lot of fun up there. We're going to celebrate our Bengals legends. We feel there are 8 Bengals that should be celebrated up there, and we feel that there's 8 Bengals legacies that should be protected in that Hall of Fame. But the ones we're really struggling with right now are obviously Ken Riley, obviously with his passing, and then Ken Anderson is the oldest living player now, Ira, from that Super Bowl 16 team. So help provide some clarity for us and all our viewers. We have thousands of folks watching right now, Ira. Explain to us. There's a voting. You guys are going to be voting sometime here in July, correct? Or at least for 2.
It's probably going to be mid-August. Probably be mid-August. Now, last year it was done virtually. It was my first time on the senior committee, but I've been on the regular, voting list since 2005. I've had my share of ups and downs in that room, gentlemen. They used to call me the closer. Sal Palantonio called me the closer because, I started off with Ed Sable was my first presentation in 2011. And that was a lot of pressure. The guy was 95 years old. He had one chance. And fortunate enough, he got in. And then Warren Sapp, 2013, Brooks, 2014, Tony Dungy, 2016. And so I was feeling good about myself until I hit the John Lynch, mountain. And he finally got in, but it took 7 or 8 years, gentlemen, 7 or 8 times making a speech for John Lynch. Not easy. Lynch could have turned on me at any time. He could have said, Ira, why don't you let somebody else give the presentation? It's not working. And I wouldn't have blamed him if he did it, because I know how much this means to them. I know how much it would mean to the Ken Riley family, Ken Anderson, Willie Anderson, Curtis. And you guys want to put 14 more Bengals in the hall. Calm down, gentlemen. Calm down.
Just 8.
8. So we did it virtually last year with the seniors. And now, look, you guys know better than anybody. There's such a backlog of guys that are falling through the cracks. I mean, Ken Riley's got plenty of company in that regard. He does. And so Drew Pearson was the guy. He waited a long time. Drew Pearson waited a long time. Say what you want about his statistics, but the guy made huge plays in the history of the National Football League. He made memorable, spellbinding plays, Drew Pearson. Here's my good news for Bengal Nation. Here's my good news. Ken Riley is really, really close to getting into Canton. I think he's got one hand on the football. And you guys know Riley. When he gets one hand on the football, he gets both hands on the football. He's really close. It would shock no one on the committee or the 45 or 48 regular voters if Ken Riley is the next senior candidate. And if it's not Riley, it might very well be Ken Anderson. That's how close they are. Now, I say that, but I also want to caution you guys, and I think you know this. The Bengals have been disrespected, and I'm not here to argue that point. But there are some other franchises, for example, the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons, I believe, predate the Bengals by a few years. And they're screaming about the first pick in franchise history, known as Mr. Falcon, the first overall pick, Tommy Nobis, a great linebacker on a lot of bad teams. You think Anderson played for some bad teams? You check out the Falcons in the late 60s. He never played in a playoff game, not one. But he made the All-Pro team when he was going up against Nitschke and Dick Butkus. So the Falcons are screaming, they don't have too many guys in the hall. They got guys that played with different teams like Dion or whatever. So the Bengals are not alone in this mission. But I will say, I believe Anderson and Riley are very, very close.
Ira, you mentioned, first of all, thank you for joining us. You mentioned the bad teams. We hear the overall team record hurts, small market hurts. How much does that come into play from what you've seen since 2004 or 5, when you said you started voting?
I think it's a huge factor. I'll give you a couple of examples. I would say this, and I think I'd be right about it. Without Super Bowl III, which is one of the pivotal moments in the league's 100-year history, without that single game, Joe Namath is not in Canton, nor should he be. I know he was the bonus baby. He got the $400,000 when nobody else did. He threw a beautiful ball, but the guy threw a ton of interceptions. I mean, a ton. Yeah. And, the Jets weren't really good for a long period of time under Joe Namath, but he was there with the guarantee we're going to beat them, and they beat a super team. The 68 Colts were a heck of a team. Bob Greasy, another example, guys. The Dolphins went to a bunch of Super Bowls in a row, 3 and almost 4, if not for that late touchdown by the Raiders. They could have done a 3-peat, and they lost the 71 Super Bowl to Dallas. So that's a lot of primetime games. And you got to remember, that's a big factor in the room, guys. A big, big factor is how many guys in that room or even on the senior committee who probably comprise a lot of beat writers over the years, beat writers. This guy covered the Steelers. This guy covered the 49ers. How many of them watched Ken Riley 8 times a year?
Right.
I mean, let's be honest. Now, my man, Jeff Hobson, who you guys know,
my man.
Bengals, great guy. And I trust Jeff Hobson. I trust him. For example, when the Bucs just picked up Giovanni Bernard as a free agent, I called Hobson. What are the Bucs getting? He goes, first, the guy's an awesome, awesome teammate. He's tremendous in the room. That's a big plus. We all know how he can catch the ball on third down and keep those chains moving, and that's going to be his role with the Bucs. So I trust Hobson. And I don't think he'd be pushing for some of these Bengals if he really didn't believe in it. And he saw these guys play. So that's the difference. And the room's getting younger. So you got to factor all that in. How many guys saw Ken Anderson play? So to answer your question, playoff games matter. They matter. And it's a big advantage, whether we like it or not. That's just the way it is.
Tom, go ahead. I think you have a question.
Yeah, Ira, one of the things that kind of mystifies us is, and like you said, it isn't just here in Cincinnati where we've got 3 guys I really think make all the committees look bad by not having in, and that's I call it the law firm, Anderson, Riley, and Anderson. But the Hall's made some decisions in the past decade to really narrow the opportunity for all those deserving candidates to get in. Now, we did have the centennial year class, but there is such a backlog of great and deserving players. I mean, guys that should have been in and need to be in. Do you see any chance of the Hall correcting that and allowing 2 seniors in a year consistently?
We are pushing. And the effort is led by guys like Rick Goslin, that great writer out of Dallas, who I started in 1976. I was a kid working for UPI in New York, and on that staff was Rick Goslin. And I was 22 and he was 25. And so I know this guy, for 45 years, and he bleeds football and he loves the Hall, and he's a big voice with David Baker. Baker doesn't always listen to Goslin, do what he says, but he listens to him. Ron Borges, Clark Judge, these guys are pushing hard for an expanded senior pool. And I'll say this, anybody who thinks there are as many worthy contributors that aren't in the Hall as there are senior candidates, I'd like to know what they're smoking. I mean, that is an absurd point of view. Maybe there's 5 or 10 guys as contributors that need to get in the next wave if you could. But after that, you're grasping. And whereas the senior guys, and Rick's got all the numbers, all decade players that have never been discussed. I mean, that's a problem. That is a problem. So I would love to have 2 seniors a year. Heck, I think we could accommodate 3, but we're not getting 3. So let's stop at 2. Right. But 1 is not enough. Yeah. I'm with you guys 100%. And you guys don't have anything against Drew Pearson. You're not knocking Drew Pearson.
We're not knocking anybody. We're not. That's not the point. Is to knocking anybody. But I will say this: the great player that Drew Pearson was, and playing 8 to 10 times a year on national TV, whether it be the CBS 4:00 game or Monday Night Football back in the year, was great. But unfortunately, America only got to see Isaac Curtis once, maybe twice a year, and Isaac is right there with Drew.
Absolutely.
One great thing about Curtis, when I looked at him, is the guy was not catching 9-yard square outs. I mean, a couple of years he averaged 20 yards. I think his career was 17. That's a big number. That's a big number. That's a Paul Warfield number, Lance Allworth number. So, and you know what? That also goes against the perception, and you got to fight perceptions in that room. That Ken Anderson was a dinker and dunker, because otherwise how did he complete 70% of his passes some of those years? Well, Anderson wasn't a dinker and dunker. Otherwise, Isaac Curtis would not have been averaging 17, 18, 20 yards a catch in multiple seasons. So that's a wrong perception of Ken Anderson.
Ira, what are you doing June 19th? Can we fly you to Canton?
Now, wait a minute. I'm not finished on this broader perspective, gentlemen, because I'm trying to broaden your horizons. I got a couple of names for you.
All
right. On Willie Anderson, hell of a player, durable as heck. You could always rely on the guy. I believe he played right tackle, but that's fine. I got no problem with that. I'm not going to ding him for playing right tackle instead of left tackle. The guy was a heck of a player. But guys, think about other guys like, you remember a guy named Mike Ken? Mike Ken.
Yes.
He was first-round pick by the Falcons.
Right.
He played his whole career, 17 years with the Falcons. The guy made 5 Pro Bowls and 5 All-Pro teams. He can't get a sniff, guys. So what I'm saying is the Randy Gradishars, the people from Denver, they're screaming, where's Gradishar? Where is he?
Yeah.
So this is a problem, and it goes beyond Cincinnati, but it is particularly acute in the Queen City. I'll give you that.
No doubt. And, Willie, obviously, I don't want to get into numbers and stats around the things that Willie did. And I want all of our viewers to make sure they understand. All these players we're throwing out right now, whether they were Cincinnati Bengals or not, these are all deserving folks and players that should be in the Hall of Fame. We're not arguing that at all. We're obviously arguing for our guys because one player in 50-plus years it's the only NFL franchise that has that going on right now. So that's why we're doing what we can on our part, Ira. I'm going to just one more thing from me, Ira. You came on early when we were talking to you, and it kind of hit me right between the eyes when you said, "Hey, Who Dey Nation, the past 6 to 8 months, you've been seeing activity on things. Explain to our viewers what you're seeing in the pot. Hopefully, it's positive stuff you're seeing from Bengal Nation."
I think you guys have taken over Twitter. I've never seen anything like it. I go to my Twitter account, and 9 of the first 16 tweets I see are about getting Bengals in his seniors and modern day candidates. It's fantastic. Now, gentlemen, I got the three of you here, and I'm going to ask you a question. I think this is the question that has to be answered by you three guys. And here it is. Ken Riley, and you know the question, but here it is. Ken Riley and Lamar Parrish. They played 8 seasons together, starting in 1970. That's a fact.
Studs.
The fact is, Parrish was a 6-time Pro Bowler as a Bengal, and Riley 0. Now, I'll say this. Part of Parrish's appeal to Pro Bowl voters, and that was before I even got into this business, early 70s, he was a fine punt and kickoff returner. He was.
Flash.
But I believe he got in as a corner, primarily as a corner. I want an answer from you three guys, 2 guys that were teammates over an extended period. What was going on with the Pro Bowl voting?
Tom, we talked about this. You can hit this first.
Yeah, Ira, one of the great things, and that's a great point. 1976, Ken Riley led the AFC with 8 interceptions. Lamar Parrish missed 50% of that season with injuries. And we love Lamar. He's been a guest here. He's hilarious. He was Deion Sanders before he was Deion. He was electric on that Riverfront Stadium turf. But Lamar Parrish went to the Pro Bowl. Ken Riley didn't. Ken Riley was quiet. He was reserved. He was a Paul Brown player. He did exactly what he was told. He intercepted the ball. He turned games around that way. And Ken was a superstar on some miserable defenses. I think what's a bigger question is why wasn't Ken voted in all those years? And look at the years Ken had when Lamar Parrish wasn't on the team. His last year, 1983, he led all cornerbacks in football with 9 interceptions, was first-team All-Pro, and still didn't get voted to the Pro Bowl. I think the better question is, what were those players? That was before drug testing in the NFL, but what were those players doing voting those years?
It's an interesting question, but I will say, ultimately, guys, 65 picks speaks for itself. It speaks for itself.
One more thing. It absolutely. There's the top 8 interception leaders in NFL history. Every one of them is in the Hall of Fame except for number 5, Ken Riley. Ken Riley has more interceptions than 29 defensive backs in the Hall of Fame. Nobody's arguing that, or viewers, just to be clear, nobody's arguing this is fun back and forth. Nobody's arguing that Ken Riley, none of these other guys should be in or not. But we feel and very strongly that, Ken Riley, Ken Anderson, Ken Riley, and you brought up a great name, Ira. Lamar Parrish was an outstanding defensive back for Cincinnati and Washington for many years. And he's one of our 8 that we're recognizing June 19th up there because his name doesn't come up anywhere. We think he's very deserving as well.
Who should go in first, Riley or Parrish?
Riley.
Okay.
Yeah. And we're pretty close to that family, obviously, Ira, and it's just a shame that, I do feel that Riley's going to get in. Obviously him, his family's going to be able to experience that. Riley's wife and Ken Riley II's mom's not getting any younger. We're hoping that happens this turnaround. We would like to see that family and his wife to be able to see that happen this next turnaround here. So
Ira,
as far as Ken Anderson's concerned, guys, you guys know this. I mean, the 4 passing titles. I mean, you can say what you want, but that speaks volumes. I mean, that's tough to knock down. He had some good weapons. He had Curtis. He had Collinsworth at some points. He had Dan Ross at some points. I understand that. He even had Charlie Joyner, for 3 years. But the fact remains, the guy won 4 passing titles, and you got to respect that.
In two different decades, Ira, and it's we got it, man. Look, man, I don't want to take too much more of your time, brother. This has been. I don't know if the viewers are having fun with this, Ira, but we love this. We appreciate you coming on, buddy. This is we don't know if we're making an impact on Twitter and social media right now. We don't want to be negative in anything we're saying to anybody. we want to make a positive impact, supplement what Jeff Hobson and the Cincinnati Bengals are doing. As a fan base, we want to be involved and help. And that's what we're doing on social media, Ira. And that's what we're doing with our massive event up at the Hall of Fame. And we just want to make an impact and have a positive impact on these with this process.
You can't you can't be in this league for almost 55 years and have one guy carrying your banner. That's absurd. That's just not right.
Yep. Yeah, we would love if in ideal world, Ira, just to let you know, Ken Anderson and Ken Riley going at the same time, this city would just go nuts. And it's not just the city. There's Bengal fans coming in from all over the country. And there's fans, if you see on social media, Ira, all across the world that are just on pins and needles this time around, hoping these guys get in. But
we got to expand that senior pool. It's a big problem.
Yeah, absolutely, Ira. Brother, we appreciate it, man. It means a lot. When we're down in Tampa, brother, we're going to buy you a beer or two. And if you come up, matter of fact, I'm not coming. I'm going to go to every game this year, but I'm not going to the preseason game down in Tampa. But brother, we're down there. We'll hunt you down, man, and we'll buy you a beer. We appreciate your time.
Tell John McClain he's got some serious competition on this show, gentlemen.
Thanks, Ira. Enjoy the spoils. Enjoy the spoils of all the wins down there in Tampa.
Thanks, buddy. Take care.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
All righty.
All right, good stuff. Hey, man, that was great. I know we're a little bit behind. I don't want to think Jeff's been in the room here, and let's go ahead and bring. So Jeff Legwood, ESPN senior writer covering the Denver Broncos, former president of Football Writers of America, covering the Denver Broncos. We're going to talk some Denver Broncos with him here as well. We got some questions about that, but if we could bring on Jeff here, that'd be great. Hey, Jeff, do you know that crazy dude that was just on with us just now? Do you know him in any way, shape, or form?
You know, when you've been on the senior committee as long as John and Ira and I have, we've spent a lot of time with each other.
Now, did you make any videos like John did? Do you have any secret YouTube videos that are out there that you want to share?
I can't say I have the John McClain video extravaganza ready to go or anything.
All right.
So.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't. Jeff, that's a funny thing. When he was on the show a couple weeks ago, he was in a music video singing.
About Matt Schaub.
Yeah,
actually, he had his Screen Actors Guild card for a while. John has been an extra in some movies. So
yeah, we were all over internet, social media, hunting for videos of Jeff Legwold, and we could not find anything. So
I'm low key. I'm the Ken Riley of sports writers. So.
Humble. Yeah, that's funny. That's great.
You belong in Canton too.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know about all that.
Well, Jeff, hey, we appreciate you being on with us. There's obviously some crossover questions we want to ask you that we just asked Ira, which it's in this process, the Cincinnati fans have been at their wits end 54 years of nobody being one person being in the Hall of Fame, and obviously we feel there's 8 legends, and I'm going to read them off real quick. These are our opinion, right? We feel that Corey Dillon, Chad Johnson, Max Montoya, Lamar Parrish, Isaac Curtis, and these next 3 are really what our focus is going to be on our event that we're having up in Canton on June 19th. Willie Anderson, one of the best offensive tackles to ever play, the second best offensive tackle in Cincinnati football history outside of Anthony Munoz, obviously. And these last 2, Ken Anderson and Ken Riley, it just breaks our heart, and I think as a fan base, I think the thing that we struggle with the most is that it just seems to just be a lack of transparency in the process around us being a small market, all these different things that probably come into play. And we're not going to put any tough questions to you, Jeff, but just kind of give us your feel. Why in 54 years of a franchise in the NFL, why only one player in there?
That's, it's hard to give people a good explanation for that, especially if you're a fan of the team. I would remind folks that the Broncos at one point, John Elway was the first Hall of Famer for the Broncos.
Right.
They had won 3 Super Bowls at that point. And I think people here were feeling like you do there right now. And that at that time, that's 2000. I think Elway is in the class of 2004. And at that point, the Broncos had no Hall of Famers from, being an original team in the AFL in 1960 until 2004. So a 44-year span with 0 Hall of Famers and 3 Super Bowls. So I think it shows it can change.
Right.
They've obviously had a few since Elway went in. Terrell Davis, Shannon Sharp. Some of those. Floyd Little went in on the senior committee, and I think Floyd.
Syracuse guy.
Yeah, and I think Floyd's a good precedent for guys like Ken Anderson and Ken Riley, because Floyd didn't play on nearly as good a teams as Ken Anderson did, for
A
example.
lot of people said he saved the Broncos. He kept the Broncos. Single-handedly.
He kept them in Denver, and they never went to the playoffs in his career. So I think it just takes somehow getting the, sort of keep banging the drum. And part of it is just the structure of the, for the senior guys, it's just the structure of the senior committee. There are so many people on that list who should be in Canton. That's where it is. Everybody is stuck in there. I think there are over 60 all-decade players in the senior pool. And when you start to think about that, that is a pretty immense number. And, the Centennial class helped some, that cleared some, but honestly, the Centennial class could have been 30 guys.
Easy.
And it still wouldn't be, cleared. So I think once any player gets in that senior pool, it's brutal just because of the math. And we're back to one candidate, one finalist a year. Again, I'm Ira and I have talked about it. John McClain and I have talked about it. Rick Goslin in Dallas. We've talked about it. We've pitched it to the Hall of Fame. We think there should be multiple senior finalists every year. But ultimately, that's a decision the Hall of Fame's board of directors makes. That's
right.
How they like it. So I think that's really the struggle for the senior guys. And if, like you guys have been talking, once you're a senior candidate, you're up there in years. You're an older person. A lot of those guys never see themselves enshrined when it does finally happen.
Yeah, it's so I want to make sure I'm going to make sure. And again, what you said there, Jeff, that seems to be the consensus across the board. Hey, we need some more of these guys going in, not just one or two. So this is the year you guys are. It sounds like you guys are voting in August, maybe for, is it 2 seniors, right, this year, and then 1 the next year?
I'm trying to think, because we did there's been a coaching category added too. So
right.
We either go back to 1 this year or next.
Yeah.
They haven't sent us the ballots yet.
Got it. I thought I read, and I could be wrong, Jeff. I thought it was 2 this year, and they go to 1. But
yeah.
So what happens? So what happens if you're in that room, Jeff? And again, obviously you can't talk about details in that room. I completely understand. We had David Baker on here a few months back, and he kind of explained how that process worked as well. But let's say you have a guy that you're fighting for the Denver Broncos. So you basically get up and you're fighting for your guy. You got how many, like 5-10 minutes to kind of fight for your guys and the why behind why you feel he should be in the Hall of Fame, right? In front of the other committee members?
Essentially. I mean, it's a little different than there's usually 5 people from the senior committee in a meeting. There are 7 people on the senior committee total, but 5 go to the meeting every year to do the vote, and they rotate that. So at first, the list is the giant list of senior candidates is whittled down usually to 15 finalists or so, 15 or 17 finalists. Then those are the players that are discussed in the room, and they will often have a Hall of Famer in the room as well. And they try to have somebody from the era from many of the finalists. I've been in there when Franco Harris has been a consultant, or Ron Wolf, but usually there's always a Hall of Famer, 1 or 2 Hall of Famers in the room with you to offer perspective if needed from when a lot of the guys played, in the 70s or the 60s or 80s. And then there is also available most of the comments that have been said in the past about eligible players. So there's a lot of material available. And because it's a senior committee and it's just a smaller committee, we essentially argue for all the players. I mean,
Got it.
you know, but if you have an association with the team or you've covered the team, you can answer questions or whatever people have. But a few of us have been on the senior committee a little longer than others, so sometimes we'll bring all the notes in from the previous years and things like that.
Got it. So we posted a video, and I think I might have tagged you on this, Jeff, a video of Mel Blount from the Pittsburgh Steelers Hall of Famer, kind of pounding the table for Ken Riley. Does that type of stuff help when you have a former Hall of Famer giving an impassionate 2-minute speech about why he feels Ken Riley should be? Is that something that you guys take into account?
Oh, we always take it seriously. I mean, these guys are the guys who were on the field. I think in general, well, the messages that ring the loudest are players who face them, you know, from the other side of the ball. I think sometimes it's good to hear from teammates, but a lot of times it's more powerful to hear from people who face them, if you know what I mean. I think sometimes, I mean, great teammates are going to be beloved by their teammates, and that's just a fact. But so I think sometimes you sort of expect, you know, you expect teammates to say Ken Riley was awesome and we want him, or Ken Anderson was awesome, you know, Willie was awesome. You know, you expect sort of teammates to say that. It means a really, can be very powerful if opposing players are showing that passion. So yeah, especially players who face them head to head, one-on-one, you know, like in Ken Riley's case, if a receiver from that era said, you know, he was the toughest guy I faced all my whole career or something like that. That's very powerful.
All right, Jeff, we're going to go out and find that. We found the Mel Blount one. We got a couple more coming your way, so we'll just be ready for them.
Hey,
I'm always ready for information.
Jeff, thank you for joining us. And I don't know if you saw it when Ira was on, but he was very transparent about the big market, small market, which is often talked about. He talked about how much of an impact playing the primetime games, going specifically Drew Pearson had, you know, the Monday night games, the CBS 4:00 games. We thank Ira for his transparency on that, but taking it to the next level, and you just touched on this a little bit, how much of it, obviously you guys have all the stats. You have that from top to bottom, the stats of what these gentlemen have done in their football career. How much of it, aside from that, is the character? What kind of person he was, the relationship with the media? We hear that a lot. This guy was a jerk to the media. This guy was good with the media. How much of that other side comes into play in the discussions?
You know, I think that's a personal choice. I'm just being honest. And, you know, that's not something, it doesn't get talked about a lot. I know for me, I don't want it to matter. I don't think my personal feelings about a player I've dealt with over the years or, you know, 5 interactions I had with him face to face. I don't think that should impact the process, but not, you know, I can't speak for everybody in the room. I will say, and a lot of us have talked about this on the committee, is that I think that, you know, this is my 21st year on the board of selectors. So I think in my time on the board of selectors, we've done a much better job of representing the league-wide better. I think there was you can look back, there were some decades there when it was essentially the Super Bowl teams were being acknowledged in Canton, and that's it. I mean, just the sheer number of players from the Super Bowl teams makes you wonder when you start having 9, 10, 11 starters from a team that are Hall of Famers from, you know, the same era. You know, you have to wonder, should the coach be in if 11 guys are Hall of Famers who are, you know, so I think there was a little too hard of a lean to those multiple Super Bowl winners from the 60s and the 70s. And it's hard to argue against those guys in retrospect because you look back and people look back fondly on those players. But I think just logically, when you start having double-digit players from the same team in the same era, that immediately means some qualified people are being left out of the discussion who didn't play on Super Bowl winners. And I think that's some of it too, for that championship, banner somewhere, that one, like if you had a tie, you're looking at players and you got this player and you got this player, but this guy won a championship. So you lean that way. And, I think that's happened to Bengals on occasion, because I honestly, I talk to people and you get all kinds of good feeling for Ken Anderson and Ken Riley. I mean, you get people who support that candidacy, but for whatever reason, when the ballots are filled out, it ain't happening. So I think some of it is you have to work past all that Super Bowl stuff and get down to the players and the era they played and who they played against, and take them each one at a time. And I think that's what helped a guy like Floyd Little, for example. I think that's a good case study for a couple of the Bengals in the senior pool for sure.
Tom?
Yeah, Jeff, bringing to your point there, it seems like there are a lot of good players from great teams that there's an obligation by voters to get in. Maybe even if they weren't as good players, but you have great players with Hall of Fame resumes that get passed over because they didn't win that game. I mean, if Pete Johnson had, gotten another half a foot in the end zone at Super Bowl 16, I get the feeling Ken Anderson with the same statistics would have been in 20 years ago, never have been a seniors candidate.
I think that's you touch. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Tom, but I think that touches on another thing. As the game advances and the numbers go crazy, it gets sort of harder to put the players from before in perspective. People want to compare passing numbers in 1978 to passing numbers now, and you can't do that. You have to take the numbers for the era they were in. And I think when that happens better, I think that's better for candidates. I mean, it's again, I don't mean to keep bringing up Floyd Little. I just think it's a good case study because he never played on a winning team, but he led the NFL and, he led the league in rushing. And a lot of people were like, well, he didn't average 4 yards a carry. Well, it's because his team stunk, none of his linemen went to the Pro Bowl ever. And, in the end, I went back and looked at how many times he was hit behind the line of scrimmage, and it was just an epic amount. And, it's that kind of stuff that, you have to get beyond the comparison. Ken Anderson is, what is he in the passing ranks now? 52 or 42, somewhere in there? And 42. He's 42. And
he was
people
number 2 when he retired.
That's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. You have to put the numbers in the era they played, and I think it gets harder to do that as time passes.
Subsequently, for Ken winning 2 passing titles in the mid 70s, 2 more in the 80s.
Exactly.
But the flip side of that is when teams were running the ball so much, Ken Riley still compiled 65 interceptions.
Well, the fact those guys combined for 112 interceptions over their careers is ridiculous. I mean, I don't know why quarterbacks decided that it was a good idea, but I mean, that's an epic. To me, that's just an epic number. They're two. I mean, they didn't play together for their whole careers. I get it, but the two guys, Parrish and Riley, finished with 112 interceptions in their careers.
That's good stuff.
Hey, Jeff, before we let you go, and first of all, never apologize for bringing up a former Syracuse player on the show. Some of us are diehard Syracuse fans, and you can mention any Syracuse player you want at any time. But before we let you go, I'm going to change subjects a little bit from the Hall of Fame. We saw Denver bring in Peyton Manning at the end of his career. A lot of scuttlebutt on the streets now about a potential trade for Aaron Rodgers coming to Denver. Can you touch on that? Is that all just pie in the sky, or is there some meat on that bone with that discussion?
Yeah, I'm not sure it's something that is really on the horizon here at this moment. I mean, the problem for Aaron Rodgers is he can't trade himself. So until the Packers show some inclination of even entertaining the idea. I think it's pie in the sky, as you say, for everybody, including the Broncos. So I don't think the Packers have reached that point, at least in my opinion.
Okay.
So, right. Jeff, look, it means a lot. You're with us, Jeff, and we appreciate the transparency and the discussion around this. So all of us on this screen and hundreds, maybe thousands of other Bengal fans are going to be in Denver December 14th to watch our Cincinnati Bengals take on the Denver Broncos.
Wait, hold that thought. And I want to bring this up, Jeff, and I want to congratulate you. I was at the last Monday night game there. It was cold. It was in December. I think we had a 14-point lead. A.J. McCarron was playing because Andy Dalton was hurt. But of all the away stadiums I've been to, Denver has the best halftime show. And I don't know if you'll recognize this once I say it. They have kids riding sheep out there like a little mini rodeo. And that's
Mutton
by
busting.
far the coolest thing ever. So
Jeff, what did you say that was called?
That's only during the stock show, but the annual stock show, they call it mutton busting. So that's they put the kids on there. They got the helmets on.
Yep. You know what I'm talking about.
Once a year during the stock show. So, yeah, you can't beat that for entertainment.
That's great. All right. So we're heading out there. We're going to be out there for the game, Jeff. And if you have some time, we're going to buy you a beer as well, brother, if you got time for it. But give us one. I've been out there many times. I love Denver. Great town. Always have a fun time going out there. But the one steak restaurant you would recommend to our viewers if they go out there, Jeff, is what?
Oh, the steak. You know, I can't say I make the rounds of the steak places, but I will say when I go for a burger, I go to the Cherry Cricket. So that'll be my recommendation.
Cherry Cricket. Have you eaten at Snooze for breakfast, Jeff?
Oh yeah, many times.
Okay. That's a Snooze is a proud sponsor of our show. They don't know it yet though.
Yeah, well worth it. Well worth it. They should be a proud sponsor. I have indirectly contributed many thousands of dollars to your show. So.
See, Snooze is good. There's a breakfast joint for when our fans go out there.
Well, Jeff, man, we appreciate it. Hey, just as a joke, when you do go to vote early, vote often. Ken Anderson, Ken Riley this time around, okay? And get our guys in there. But we appreciate everything, man, and it means a lot you being with us.
Oh, thanks much. Take care.
Thank
you. All right, buddy. We'll see you.
Man, all the Floyd Little talk there. I don't think we've never had a Syracuse guy brought up that long. So thanks.
Hey, James.
Yes, sir.
All respect to you. I mean, and mutton busting, but nothing beats monkeys riding bicycles.
Where was this
or
at?
Dogs.
Yeah, dogs and here. It's happened here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but mutton busting's just a cooler name.
It is. It is.
And one of our listeners, God bless him, knew who it was. Jamie had it popped up there.
Yeah, he got beat.
Oh, it's already over?
Yeah, I thought it was later. Maybe the main. I have no idea. Oh. No idea.
Live from Bengal Gyms. Chad Johnson fight results.
A lot of credit for making it to the fourth round. Remember, Apollo Creed was going to beat Rocky Balboa in 3. So good for Chad to making it to the fourth round.
But
guys, I know we're running a little late, but there's a couple other things we want to hit on quickly. Just real quick touch base in the Jungle to the Hall. Guys, there's been a ton of media presence around this locally. There's even more national media that's picked this up here recently. There'll be more national media. Hopefully, it sounds like here early in the week that's picking this event up. Guys, I'm going to tell you, this thing has gotten really big. We're almost at 200 folks that have RSVP'd at this point today. The main focus on that event is that 1 to 3, and we do have kind of an itinerary for you. I don't know if we have that graphic up that Jamie just got done doing, but we do have an itinerary. I'm going to go over that with you now. We're going to post this on our social media. But basically, from 1 to 3 o'clock is our Jungle to the Hall event. That is the rally. We want you to wear, if you have any of those 8 players that we want in the Hall of Fame, their jerseys, we want you to wear it. If not, just wear some orange and black. We want a sea of orange and black heading to the Hall of Fame. But from 1 to 125, 130-ish, we're going to have basically what we're calling our meet and mingle with other fans from across the country. Any celebrities are there, any media folks that are there. Then at 1:30, we start our press conference. We're going to go through and just talk about our 8 legends that we feel their legacy should be protected in the Hall of Fame. We're going to have some video. We're going to have a bunch of stuff around, speakers around them. There it is there. And then at 3 and 3:30. Now the rally itself is free. You pay nothing, okay? But at 3 and 3:30, there's going to be a Bengals special presentation in the Gold Jacket room prior to your self-guided tour. So basically, the curator is pulling together items and things to talk about with us as a group. One group at 3, one group at 3:30. Basically, the history of the Cincinnati Bengals, and that is literally going to be in the Gold Jacket room at 3 and 3:30. They've also, the curator has put together a special display for Anthony Munoz in the Hall of Fame that day. So basically, as soon as we're done with the press conference and our rally, we're going to have a group go in at 3 and a group go in at 3:30 for that presentation, and then go through your self-guided tour. And if you wanted to at 10 o'clock, obviously Massillon High School event, going out there and checking out the high school where it all started for Paul Brown. But the main focus is getting bodies there, and we got a massive amount of people coming. We want more. We want to max this tent out. We have a huge tent that we'll post some other videos and pictures so you can see what it looks like. It's literally right next to the parking lot, right on the grounds of the Hall of Fame, right next to the front door almost. That's how close this is. Somebody asked me on a radio show here the past few days, does the Hall of Fame know we're coming? Yes. The Hall of Fame rented the event tent to us. They have been outstanding to work with. We're going to give you some names of some employees at the Hall of Fame that when you walk in, if you see them, you want to make sure you give them a big hooday and a hug because they are diehard Bengal fans. Just to be very clear, anybody that works there has no ramification about who goes into the Hall of Fame. They're employees of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. But there are some diehard Bengal fans. When I was up there this past Saturday, we got multiple hoodays as we were walking through, as they were kind of showing us around. And I cannot wait for this special event, guys. It's going to be a lot of fun up there.
It is, and we just shared the link in the media. So if you're on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, that link should be shared. Click it, 100% free. Come up, make a day out of it, spend the night, join us after. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I think the one thing I noticed, and I'll say this in closing, is the comment that Ira made there about the presence he's seeing from you, the fans, on social media. So what you guys and girls are doing out there with your social media presence obviously is paying off. And when we do it, we're doing it in a respectful way. We're not storming the Capitol, as I think you said on Lance McAllister's show, Jimmy. Hollow ground up there, and we're doing it in a respectful way. And I think Ira said, Ken Riley's close. Hopefully Ken Anderson is close as well. And, looking forward to this fun event. A lot of legwork has gone into it. But I think it's all going to pay off in the end, and we appreciate everyone's support. And if there's any way you can make it up to Canton there 2 Saturdays from yesterday, please do so.
Yeah.
Tom?
It's not just a celebration of Bengals past and these guys' careers, but a celebration of Bengal fandom. So anybody in any part of Ohio, New York, although I think, Jimmy, you've gotten responses from all over the country, people that are coming from very far away. It's going to be a great time. It's going to be a great time to visit. We Bengal fans haven't gotten together since week 17 of last year's schedule. So please come out. The more of us, the better. And to echo what James said, and while I know there are some naysayers and haters out there, and that's fine, I think we're kind of numb to them. Everything you do on social media, every conversation you make, every talk show you call, it is making a difference. And, it's not going to get them in, but it is going to get the voters to take an extra look at them.
Yeah.
We've got 3 guys that should have been in long ago, and hopefully there's some light at the end of the tunnel for all 3 of them.
Yeah, you guys made a great point. We have been tagging all 9 of the senior voters in certain posts. I have emails that we've been sending out with data and information to these 9. It is very obvious they know what's going on out here on social media because of what everybody is doing out there in Bengal Nation. So keep doing what you're doing. Stay positive. Be respectful, like James said. That's very important. The last thing we want to do is mess this process up from one of our Bengal legends. We're going to do this respectfully on social media. We're going to do this respectfully have a lot of fun up in Canton on June 19th, guys.
And if you just joined in, I want to give one big shout out to the Bengal super fans. If you missed the beginning of the show, Bengal Jim now has his own rap video. So thank you to AJ, the Arnett's family, his beautiful daughters, and his wife for compiling. They're now producers. If MTV was still around, they probably would have debuted it there, but they had to settle for us tonight. And Bengal Jim has his own video.
Well, there's two things I want in my life, guys. I've been very blessed. I got most everything I've ever wanted in my life. There's two things left. One is a Bengals Super Bowl. Actually, there's one thing left after tonight. I got my own video. And next thing to knock off before I get hit by the beer truck is a Bengals Super Bowl, guys. Guys, that's it. We appreciate it. Make sure you RSVP, spread the word, share, talk to friends and family. Make sure you RSVP to that link we have set up. Yep. We are going to have an absolute blast. There's some other things you need to keep an eye on social media, some other surprises that are going to be happening that day during that event and post-event. So keep an eye out. I'm really looking forward to seeing everybody up in Canton, Ohio, June 19th. We'll see you again next week, guys. The last show before the June 19th Jungle to the Hall. We will see you guys next week. Who day?
Get well soon, Jamie.
Put aloe on.